What's up, you guys? Back with another video. This is the second part of the video that I put out the other day about trucking. See, right now I'm about to look up a set. It's a little bit rainy out here, kind of lighting up a little bit now, but what they call it, Tennessee hookup or something like that. I'm gonna try that in like the next hour. I've been pretty good at it for the past week or so, but trying to remember where I left off on the last video. Actually, I know where I left off. I've just been so busy trying to take care of other things. I said, let me just take care of this YouTube video quick as possible before I forget. But back to the trucking side of things. I would encourage every young person that doesn't know where they're headed, say after high school, or you may know where you want to go down the line after high school, but there's been little detours that you had to take, or little bumps in the road, or hiccups that you come across. If your license are legit, I encourage, like I say, all young people, go ahead and get your CDL so you can at least see the country as you make money, because that's one of the best ways, that's one of the best routes to take right now, because as we all know, a lot of work is slowing up, and if you don't have your own business, things get real tight. And I'm here in Atlanta where a lot of crimes are taking place due to lack of resources. But I encourage every young person that's out there right now, like I said, get out there, see the country, travel a little bit, clear your mind, because like me, like I said in the last video, I only went out to Georgia a few times, and I was to see family in the surrounding states. But as soon as I hit the road and went over the road, I had clarity in my mind. I could think, I just, like I said, I had clarity. I knew what I was supposed to do. And when you just stuck in the city or your side of town, or where you feel like you don't really want to go anywhere, you don't want to do nothing, you just want to do what everybody else doing and be a part of the foolishness with, is what everybody else doing. And this ain't even particularly aimed at black people. This is for everybody. I mean, trucking ain't no race when it comes to trucking. There's nobody's going to be singled out. I mean, it's all right for everybody. But sorry about that. That beeping, y'all. It's one of the best ways to get out there, feed yourself, provide for your family if possible. Yeah, so about this whole deal with trucking, you got to go into it with an open mind. You have to go in it with your own personal goal set. Shout out to Trucker Brown and Ghost. I think you all know, these people that I'm naming, but go in it with a plan. Some people have their reasons for going to certain schools or through certain programs. Can't really listen to everybody and the steps that they took to get to where they are. You have to walk your own path, and hopefully in the future you can cross paths with the people that you communicated with, and continue to get insight and information from each other. But like I said, I went through Swift only because they took me at the time. My DUI was at the 6-year mark, and everybody else was saying I have to wait to 7 years. So I said, forget it, man. I'm gonna go for it. There wasn't no opportunities back home as far as legitimate work. So I said, forget it. I hopped on that Greyhound, went to Utah, got them. But after we went through the snowstorms and practicing and like I said, I went through the access road to get my gear shifting, together. Make a long story short, I think we were talking about pre-tripping and the trailer. So continue that story. I'm up for my pre-trip inspection, but before you can get on the road and do your practice test on the road, you have to pass that pre-trip. If you don't pass that pre-trip, you're not going on the road. You're not doing any road exams. So I think you had to get, I know you had to get 12 things right as far as the trailer to pass, but they wanted 15. And I barely made it. I barely passed on the trailer because I knew I studied enough for the trailer, but to be honest with you, really want to know everything you need to know. That goes from the outside of the cab, the inside of the cab, the trailer, the fifth wheel, the tire pressure. You want to know everything you possibly can. You don't want to go in there with the information of, I know just a little bit to get by, because having that information just to get by is going to lead you to probably an accident or hurting yourself or hurting somebody else. So it's best to pay attention to every little detail that you possibly can. Don't go in there trying to hurry up and get it out the way. That's not the way to go about this thing, because these trucks move like missiles on the road. They really do. So you got to be aware of your pre-trip. You have to. But I passed the pre-trip on the trailer, passed my road test. Came down to it, it was time to go out with the trainer. So the predicted time to be out there with a trainer was about 2 months. I was going to be out on the road with a complete stranger, which I was kind of cool with, as long as the person kept his hygiene up and wasn't, I'm not going to use that term, but wasn't willing to flip out on me getting stuff wrong or not doing stuff right or doing things a certain way. But Antonio was my trainer. Shout out to him. I don't know if he's still the owner operator over there at Swift, but he was a brother from Savannah, man. He was real down to earth. He was like 2 years younger than me, but at the same time, all the information he gave me helped me out in the long run. I'm gonna let y'all know this. Some of the trainers that y'all go out with, that's probably all they got is that damn truck. That's it. They don't really have. Some of them not going home on home time. They spend home time wherever they choose. They 34-hour reset. They're going to spend it wherever they want to spend it. It's not a particular place they're going to go. And guess what? If you in the truck with them and you training, you're going to have to stay wherever they stay. Point blank period. You're not going to go home and see your kids and see your girl or see your side chick or ladies. Y'all ain't going to see your dudes and your kids. No, you're going to get them hours out the way. You're going to get that practice out the way. And you're going to do what you got to do. But one thing I can say about that training was the training checks is actually bigger than the checks you received when you were solo. Sad to say. I'm not trying to down that particular trucking company. It just is what it is. That's why the turnover rate is a little high. But people do what they got to do. They take off or they stay. It is what it is. It's a part of the industry. Guess what? Ain't nothing you can do about it. Ain't too much gonna change. But when I did my 2 months, actually I got out there in like a month and a half. Cause I wasn't trying to sit up there and sit on the passenger seat. I wasn't trying to sit in the back and take naps and do all this and that and the third. I was ready to get my hours complete and get my tractor and get on somewhere. Get my first load from think, was it Raleigh, North Carolina, back home to Atlanta, Georgia, Lithonia, Georgia. But yeah, man, I don't have anything negative to say about training. Not too many things negative to say about Swift. I'm not gonna downplay him. I'm not gonna shoot him down like that, because I had to do what I had to do and I got out of there. Everybody else that went through with them and end up going another route, that's their issue. But you have to go in there with the mentality of you have no other options, even though you may have other options. If you want them that bad, if you want it that bad, you're gonna do what you have to do and come back home with your license, regardless. And this video, a lot of my videos going to be unscripted, unedited, straight off top of the brain. And I'm just, like I said, I'm starting something new with this YouTube. So yeah, I'm jumping off the bridge with it. They said when you start something, but once you get used to it, if you learn the ropes of it, you just learn as you go. So this is just raw footage of me expressing and explaining my journey with trucking. So I went through Swift. I stayed with Swift, I want to say like, I don't want to lie to y'all, I think about 6 months. I stayed with them for like 6 months, did straight OTR, no dedicated runs, no rail runs, none of that. And then I ended up going to Warner. And the reason I went to Warner, because I knew a young lady that I went to high school with. She was with Warner, but she was on the Coca-Cola account. And she was telling me how good it was as far as a good startup company and how often she's at home to see the family. And I'm like, okay, she's at home. That was one of my main concerns. I don't care what nobody say. Some people like to be out there 6 months, 7 months at a time. Hey, more power to you. Me, my kids were at that stage where my absence was felt. So, yeah, I went out there sometimes 2 weeks at a time, 3 weeks at a time, and went right back home for like 3-4 days. And I was cool with it, you know. I appreciated that time that I spent with them, but I knew I had to get back out there and, you know, rip and run. Not to fall off topic, but that pretty much sold me on going to Warner. And I had a potential, well, she was a team driver of mine. She came through Swift, but she had an incident with her trainer where it kind of prolonged her process of getting the hours completed. She had a whole assault charge going on. I'm not going to call her name out. But shout out to her. She ended up being a real good driver, a real dependable driver, real stand-up person. And I appreciate everything she really put up with me, because I had to go home a lot. I had other issues, you know, family issues and emergencies that I had to deal with. But she was a real rider. Like, she was down. Tam, I appreciate you for all your help and support on that road. But like I said, we communicated quite a bit on teaming, and I was kind of like, I don't want to go to sleep with somebody else driving, and if this truck moving, I want to be responsible for it moving. I don't want nobody else to drive it while I'm, you know, all that old stuff. I had to get out of that mindset and say, you know what, as long as we can make some more money, a little bit extra money than we were over there at Swift, keeping these tires going and better bonuses, I was like, all right, cool. We ran with it. I was cool. So we did 48 for about the same time period I was with Swift. Really no complaints. She didn't like to do the backing so much, but I had to help her out on that. I know she pretty good now though, but that was the only thing. And sometimes I might be asleep. I was driving my shift, and we get to to our destination. She go in there, take care of the paperwork, but it might be a tight little spot. And at that time, I probably got like 3 hours of sleep. I'm dog tired. She wake me up, B, wake up. I need help parking. I'm like, oh my God, that was one of the things I was like, man, Tam, you better get this parking stuff right. I'm not gonna keep waking me up in the middle of the night or middle of the daytime after I'm trying to get off in this good sleep just because you gonna want to bag this trailer up. But you know what I'm talking about. I ain't trying to shoot you down, but you know, you knew you wake me up at any given second just to park that trailer. But we did that for like 6 months. Her and I parted ways because I ended up getting on a West Rock account, which was cool because with West Rock, I knew I would leave out Sunday night or early Monday morning, go down to Dublin, Georgia to get loaded and take it up to the East Coast, like up there in Connecticut, Syracuse, New York, and then I work my way down, like from North Carolina back to Atlanta, back to Atlanta by Friday. So I spend my 34 at home on the weekend, like I said again, with my family. So I was fine with that, and I did that for about 5 months. I did that for about 5 months. That was a pretty cool account because you knew what you was making on a consistent basis. Unlike being OTR, where you can be shut down due to weather or load not ready, or you getting, excuse my French, but shitty loads. They really ain't getting no miles. So with that West Rock account, I kind of knew what I was getting myself into. But all in the while, like, me and my girl, we went through stuff, not as far as like our relationship, but I mean, our relationship was tested, but our living conditions, our living situation we was real pressed about it. So it seemed like in that time period, stuff wasn't moving fast enough for me, but it was moving better because I knew I was putting my time in. I was putting my time in, getting my experience up, trying to stay accident free, which I currently am and was over the road. Haven't had an accident. I don't look forward to getting an accident, but staying safe out there, getting back to the family, making the money. But like I said, sometimes it felt like it wasn't coming fast enough because I started with 2 startup companies, and then I ran into one of my neighbors, a real cool dude, Emmanuel. He was over there at FedEx Ground, and I seen him. I was at home time from the West Rock account. What ended up happening was I seen him pull up in the neighborhood with a ground tractor. So the whole time I didn't even know he drove trucks, and this was like almost 2 years. So I didn't even know he drove trucks, and I asked him, y'all hiring at the moment, and if y'all are, what's the requirements? And just so happened, he was like, yeah, man, we hiring. You get paid this and this, that, and the third. What you got to do is this, that, and the third. And after he told me what I could be potentially making a week, man, I said, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to put my my notice in with Warner, and I'm going to go ahead and do my thing, because to make that kind of money and then be home every night, I was like, I didn't know it could be that good. But that's the power of asking questions if you don't know, and getting out of that comfort zone and not wanting to ask people stuff, think you know everything, which I don't think I know everything, but once you ask questions, you start opening up other doors to more opportunities. I'm not saying you're trying to use people for, this and that and third, but once you start asking questions, you start to expand your mind. And like I said, those opportunities start to open up. So, not to get off topic again, he let me know what I would be doing. He said I had to get my my doubles endorsement. And all the time I was over there at Swift and at Warner, I used to see FedEx and UPS zoom past us. We're going like 55, 60 something miles an hour. I didn't know what LTL stood for back then, but now I know. But all I knew was I used to see Conway, FedEx, UPS. I forgot the other companies that used to carry sets. But every time in the wintertime when we might pass the states where it snowed, we always see them rolled over in the embankment. And I was saying to myself, man, I ain't carrying no damn double set. That's all. And when I said that I put a limit on what I would do in this industry, I said, man, I ain't driving no damn double set. I ain't doing this. I ain't doing that. But little did I know, after he told me what I could potentially be making, I said, I'm finna go get these. I went on a practice test. I googled the double set practice test, and I studied for maybe a full day. I studied, did the practice test, and looked through the on the book from the DMV. Went up there 2 days later. I got my doubles, which I thought was going to be difficult, but once you put your mind to something and stop putting a limit on yourself, okay, anything is possible. But I put in my head that I wasn't going to drive double set. But like I said, eventually I ended up getting them. Emmanuel, he helped me out tremendously with training, hooking up sets, breaking them down, how to run the route. But I ended up coming in overnight where Jared, shout out to Jared, who was over at Walmart. He like I said, he was in charge of Walmart's. I started overnight. I had like 2 local stops and 3 Walmarts if I wanted to do 3 of them. But that's the most I did was 3. Every once in a while I do 4. I'd be like ridiculously tired after doing 4. But the turnaround with Walmart's is like, what were they? 3 hours? Yeah, 3 hour turnaround. But yeah, like I said, I got on with Ground. But it took some time getting on with him because what ended up happening was the contractor, he was in the process of getting rid of one driver. So what happened was it just took some time to get in the system. And with that, I end up going through a temp service for CDL drivers. I end up doing that for like 2 weeks. No, I did it for a week. I did it for a week. But they sent me down past Dublin, Georgia, to come back on a sleeper. I did that. I don't even want to put the company's name out there because the trucks was garbage. I was supposed to go down there, drop a load off in Savannah, and come back the next day. And I went down there, took the load down there. What ended up happening was I signed up with the company. I needed some money because, like I said, FedEx, it took a little time. It was a little process. Like I said, it took almost damn near 3 weeks just to get on with them. Took that load down to Savannah. It's like 1 in the morning. They end up unloading me around about 1:30 at the warehouse. And I was about to go to sleep, but ants were in the bed. And I didn't even see the ants beforehand. I didn't have any money to get a room, none of that. It was like either you gonna sit up in the front of the cab and lay your head on the steering wheel, or you're gonna lay in bed with ants. I said, you know what? I was almost over my clock, and I crunked that truck back up. I went right back to what's that? It wasn't the West. I went right back to Atlanta. It was like another 3.5 hours to get back home. I wasn't gonna sit in no truck with no ants and get bit up. I was dog tired when I got back home though. But that was the last trip I did with them. Finally, FedEx called me back. Listen though, I'm at one of my stops, so it's kind of sorry about that. Yeah, it took a minute to get on with them, but when I did, I ran like a dog, because I had those almost 3 weeks of not doing any work. Luckily, I had a couple things on the side I did while I was at home, but you trying to get on with them, and then, make sure you got other stuff. Make sure you got other stuff lined up, because sometimes that process may take 2 weeks, up to 2 weeks to maybe a month. But all in all, yeah, it's pretty legit. It's really no complaints over here. Only thing that is different from being over the road is when you're local. You got to deal with a lot of traffic, a lot of city limit, and all those restrictions and things of that nature. But all in all, it's a pretty good third-party company because I'm working through a contractor. So all in all, it's pretty good. I have to start writing my topics down to deliver my messages a little bit better, because I can go on for like an hour if I wanted to, just talking and chopping it up, and I found myself after I look at my videos again, I found myself babbling and rambling and getting off topic. But this is new to me. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna try to bring videos consistently because this is, like I said, a form of therapy. So when I'm looking at my phone, it's almost 30 minutes of me yapping at my stop. One of my last stops of the day. They tend to take forever, but it's all good. Like I said, I'm gonna sit down, jot down, write down my notes, get all this together, because it's uncut. But at the same time, I gotta start from somewhere. And when you start doing something, it's not gonna be perfect. The only way you can get better at it is if you keep doing it and not giving up on it. So thankfully, the rain has stopped. We're looking forward to more videos. A lot of different topics. I stopped saying a lot. Yeah, but thanks for the support for the little amount of people that do watch the videos. Hopefully it's informative. Get a good bit of information off of it. But when you go into this trucking business, got to go in with an open mind and not limit yourself. That's if you want to go in for tanker, rail yard, containers. If you want to stay OTR for as long as you want to, do what you want to do. Keep your head in the game, do what you want to do. Stay focused. Stay strong out there. Keep your head up. I know it's going to be people calling you and the bad news. Try to limit the negative news and the negative insight, and keep a clear mind out there. Have fun while you're out there, but most importantly, be safe. That's the biggest thing. That's the main thing over anything, is safety out there. Safety, because it's not just your life at stake, it's other people's life at stake. So keep a clear mind out there, drive safe. I'll be back with a few more videos a little later. I'm about to go in here to this ship and chop it up with them, see if they can get me up out of here. But y'all stay safe out there. Have a good one.